This is neighbor Sharon. Let's get to crafting. Okay, quick shout out to Brenda from Rustic and Lace, Amanda from 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, and Chantal at Crafty Hints. They work hard every first of the month to put out a themed playlist. This month's theme is Sweet Summer Days. And we have to do 3 projects, and one has to be about food and drink, and I'm going to tackle that one first. Project number 1, take a bite of summer. I'm using the Dollar Tree calendar image and a Dollar Tree pizza pen, and the rest of the supplies are from Amazon. So once I choose the image that I want, I prepare the pizza pan by sanding it, wiping it down with some rubbing alcohol, and then I'm just going to do a sloppy coat of white on the outside rim and then a little bit on the inside. So there's the Farm Fresh calendar. That's the name of the calendar that I'm taking the image from, and it has some really pretty images. You just take a moment to enjoy them here. Love that little bunny one. And I've already made something with this one, a tag sign. And here's our watermelon, and this is our take a bite out of summer image. It says, life is sweet, enjoy every bite. So there's my painted and dried pizza pan, and I'm going to hold the image up and see if I can figure out, is it going to fit? I'm going to cut some strips because I don't mind if there's a background showing in between them, because it'll just look like shiplap, which is what the image looks like anyway. And after playing around with it, I do decide to put the text on the top and the bottom and not one under the other like I did there. There we go. That looks much better. Okay, so I set those to the side so they're not going to get messy. And then I take my green, I think it's just regular green and spring green. Don't quote me though. I basically just swish, it's a stencil brush, and I just swish it around. It's got some nice long bristles and it paints really well. Wet brush will help the paint glide. And if you get the lighter green on while the darker green is still wet, it'll blend in. It'll blend in together. It's much easier to get them to blend if you do it that way. All right, now it goes a little south here, not gonna lie, and I'm gonna show you. It was much funnier than I thought it would be, because it's in the bottom, and I thought it'd be kind of thick and bleh, but it's not. And I should have scooped some back, but I didn't. I like working with a much thinner coat when I do the heat decoupage, but I just tried to spread it as evenly as possible. I went, had some dinner, watched a ball game, and then I came back and I just cleaned up the pan just to make sure there was nothing there, so when I decoupage, nothing shows up underneath. But talking about underneath, I'm going to show you something in a minute here, and don't gasp. I picked out some florals that matched, set those to the side. And now I flipped over my images, and what am I doing? I am dry brushing black paint. I don't have a fit. It does not show on the front. However, it does camouflage the words and letters on the back, because they do actually show through if you don't do this. Some people have put like a piece of black paper or black cardstock, but I don't want my image to be thick underneath. I like the way it looks flat on the pan. So you'll see I do the parts where the letters and words are first, and then I just kind of blend it in. And it works fantastic. It seems a little bit out of the box, but it works. So I get it placed down the way I want. Get my parchment paper on, that's important. Get the flowers out of the way so they don't get melted or dirty. And we're going to use the iron with no steam. Just a nice, hot, dry iron. Some people say don't move it. I move it. It doesn't seem to matter one way or the other as far as the results go. And now I'm choosing rope for the border. A lot of people think rope is just embellishment, but actually rope does a nice job of hiding the imperfections of the cut and just making everything look nice and clean. That rope is actually a regular Dollar Tree rope that's had one part taken out, so it looks kind of wavy still. And I had saved it, you know, not thinking what am I going to use it for, but it looks really nice on this border. And I also used it as a hanging rope. Now I have this nice burlap ribbon that I've had for quite a long time, probably maybe a year. And I didn't measure it, I just sort of held it up to the top of the pie pan to get an idea of the size. I made 2 loops, and then I did an awareness bow and made a loop from the awareness bow. And then I did an X with the loops, put the awareness bow on top, hot glued everything together, and then I made the tails nice and short because I don't want to cover those words, because my words are important, that's why I chose them. And then I just have some petunia and hydrangeas. The hydrangeas are the all over pink ones that are smaller. And I made just little bouquets and stuck them under where the bow is. And look how pretty. Project number 2, Cheap Sunglasses Caddy. Yes, it was a song, but it's also something to keep those cute beach sunglasses going all summer. So I'm using some CRICUT items. That vinyl I got from Dollar Tree. This handle came from Hobby Lobby. I think someone gave it to me. The sign, the blank, is a fall sign from Dollar Tree. So I put some paint on the back of the handle so I could mark the holes where we're going to screw it in. And then I drilled in with my trusty little, it's a smaller size drill because I have some physical limitations and the man-size drill we had just wasn't cutting it. So I got those drilled in and I got the vinyl put down, which was super easy. It went on super easy. And then I flipped it over and got the handle screwed in. I changed the drill from a drill bit to a screwdriver bit and got the handle on there. I noticed it was a little bit wiggly because they weren't really the right size screws, so there was a little bit of give. I took an old paintbrush and got some E6000 under there, and then I actually left that overnight before I messed around with it again. So the next day I come in and I'm quite happy with how the handle is, so I'm going to work on the CRICUT words. And I actually designed these myself. I put a curve on the words cheap and sunglasses, and then I borrowed an image from CRICUT Design Space and just sized it for the words using the measurements from the sign. So I was quite proud of myself. So I'm just going to put it right at the very, very top because I'm not doing a bow or anything on this, so I don't need to leave any room. I'm going to use the original hanger, and it's right at the very top, so this can go right above everything, and it's not going to be in the way, and you're still going to be able to read it. And it got that nice little point on the top of this sign blank, so it's perfect to be able to center the words. So I was quite happy for that. And it's actually is working out quite nicely for me tonight. All the words and the transfer tape and everything is actually cooperating and doing what I needed to do, and not one little bit of frustration like from just a few weeks ago. It's gotten that much better using the CRICUT words. So I got that was just like a little sticker. I actually just took the sunglass shape right off and then used my CRICUT tool to get rid of the little bubbles. So I'm going to take the word, I'm going to pull the background away. There's very little to weed. I'll put the name of the font in my description box because I forget, but I really like this font because it's wide and there's not very much to weed. I got it down on the transfer tape, no problem. And then I was like counting the words there. I was like, and trying to figure out which words were supposed to be in the middle. And I did figure it out. Got it down. Used my CRICUT tool, and then just a nice slow pull off. And we are done with the embellishment part of this project. So when my girls were little, we would always like stop at the souvenir store, the drugstore, and get those fun little sunglasses. But they never really lasted, but you know, maybe a few outings and they got lost or sat on or broken. So this little sheep sunglasses caddy is my solution to that for summer sunglasses. At the last minute here, I decide I want this little crate to be similar to the coloring on the handle. So I'm going to give it some folk art cottage white watered down paint, and I'm only doing the front and the sides. I want to do the back because it's going to have to be glued, and I want the bare wood for that. Then I'm going to use the Magic Fly black acrylic paint and a Dollar Tree chip brush. I actually got that in my last haul, 2 chip brushes for $1.25. And I'm just gonna do that like I like to distress, by starting at the corners there and pulling the brush across. I don't know why I do it like that. I just started doing it like that, and I just really like how it looks. I do go in after and paint the back inside of the crate, because I noticed it was kind of noticeable that it was wood color. So you won't see me do that, but full disclosure, I did do that. Okay, so we're almost finished here. I'm putting a little bit of E6000 down where I'm going to put the thumbtack or pin. It's a black ball with a long sharp pin on it, and I thought it would look cool if it seemed like the crate was hanging from the pin. It's not really, but I put the crate where I wanted and pulled the rope up, and that's how I decided where to put the pin. It was pretty easy. And then I have this cute little half-size hammer that I used to get it in, and watch what I did. I go to pick the sign up and move it around, and it's stuck to the board underneath. Whoops. Okay, anyways, back to finishing up here. I had some E6000 on there already, so now I'm finishing up with a little bit of hot glue, figuring out the placement, making sure the rope is in the right place, getting it nice and snug around the pin, putting the original hanger back, and that is our cheap sunglasses caddy. I'm going to show you what it looks like while it's being used, and then I'll give you a closer look of it at the final reveal. So before we get to the last project, I just wanted to say thank you again to Brenda at Rustic and Lace, Amanda at 6 Kids and a Glue Gun, and Chantel at Crafty Hints. They work hard on this playlist every first of the month. I'll have their channel links in my description box, as well as a link to the playlist. So show them some love, sit back and enjoy the playlist, and let's get to the last project. Project number 3, Screen Door Days. You'll need 2 5x7 canvases. I use the black ones because I like the color on the back. Some foam core board, and I traced the inside of a small wreath, wire wreath form to do that. Some wood for the little embellishment, various tools, and you also need one of the heavy-duty staplers, which I don't show. So to begin with, I'm going to open one of the canvases, and I'm going to expose the frame underneath by removing the canvas. And I don't know, I have a this is a staple remover, but I can never really get it to work very well. Maybe because of the thickness of the canvas. So I grabbed one of my utility knives, and as long as you use it on an angle, it cuts pretty good. And I cut as close to the staples as I could, so I can have as much fabric to work with. Ideally, I would have all the fabric, but you work with what you got. So it's actually a little bit tedious, but well worth it to cut it slowly and trim the edges. And if you know me in my other projects, I leave things long or untrimmed until the very last minute. So you'll always see me come back and trim up things or clean up things. Because when I first started crafting, there were times when I didn't have enough of what I needed because I had trimmed it first, or, you know, I had not enough twine, or, you know, not enough ribbon or whatever. So now I always leave everything long to the very last minute. So that exposed frame is now going to be painted with some really watered down brown acrylic paint, and I use a baby wipe to soften up the color as well as fill in the gaps, and I just like the way it looks. At some point I'm gluing the two frames together, and I guess I lost the footage and didn't show you, but just to be aware at the end I do glue them together and use some craft sticks to reinforce it. In the meantime here, I'm going to take the canvas that I pulled off and I'm just going to put it on top of this second one. I'm not removing the canvas on this one or doing anything to it. I'm actually just going to cover it up. So easy enough. And this is what I mean about the color. It just looks wooden to me. And I've looked at it before and thought, I need to use that in a project where I want something to have the color of wood. So here we go. And I just thought it was so cool to do a screen door for this project because I have such fond memories of being able to leave the main door open and having the outside breeze come in, the smell of summer and everything. You didn't need AC yet, it wasn't super hot. Just fond memories. So I put that into this Sweet Summer Days project. Alright, I'm getting the canvas attached, cleaned up, trimmed, like how it looks, and I hold it up, and that's going to be the little door. That's what it's going to look like. And I do have a half bead on a cube that I'm also going to put on there that looks like a little doorknob. Alright, so before I do that, I'm going to just cut the screen to size. I want to say that whole roll was maybe $8 at Lowe's, but don't quote me. I got it for a project from one of the things I signed up for, but it turned out we didn't need it, so I thought, well, I could return it, or I could just think of ways to use it. So that's what I did, and I'm thinking of ways to use it. It was like I was like laying in bed at night going, what can I do? What can I do? And I thought chicken wire, but then I thought, oh, it's just so hard to work with. And then I remembered I had this screen, and that was it. I knew right away what I wanted to do with it. So we're going to pull it tight here, and we're going side to side and then top and bottom, and that way we'll give you the tightest outcome. Then I go back at the very end here, trim off the edges because it's completely see-through, so you don't want anything hanging out or any loose threads or anything like that. Wrapped the foam board with some burlap and created a hanging strip, some burlap, and then I used my eucalyptus and random florals that I purchased from Dollar Tree. Every time I go to Dollar Tree, I just grab something that I've never seen before. So I wire those onto the little wreath form that I made, and I'll show you a better look, finished product at the final reveal. Don't forget to subscribe and give me a big thumbs up. See you soon.